Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum.
Awal kau balik hari ni?
Hari ni aku tak banyak kerja. Awak okey ke?
Saya okey je, tapi penatlah sikit hari ni.
Tak apa.
Kau tolong lipatkan baju ke? Ingatkan ni kita perempuan je.
Dalam rumah ni kita orang saling tolong-tolong, tapi istilah kau kena buat tu, aku kena buat ini.
Untunglah Maya, dapat suami baik. Tapi takkan kau boleh lelaki jadi yang decide semua.
Kau ni dah kenapa Mira?
Yelah, contoh macam tadi, buat balik kampung, buat duit, semua hari saya kena fikirkan.
Biarlah, dia tu suami aku. Yang kau rasa dia ni kenapa?
Janganlah marah Kak Maya. Tapi kan, Kak Maya tak rasa ke? Kak Maya tu merasa macam bergantung.
Boleh aku jawab?
Boleh.
Kalau Maya bergantung sebab aku paksa, itu salah. Tapi kalau dia bergantung sebab dia rasa dia selamat, itu kepercayaan.
Tapi kau tak terasa terbeban ke?
Mana ada terbeban sebab dia tu tanggungjawab aku. Aku akan lebih risau bila aku akan lepas semuanya. And anything, apa-apa yang terjadi, aku yang akan orang last tolong.
Selama ni saya tak pernah pun rasa awak kawal saya. Tapi yang pernah saya rasa, awak jaga saya dengan baik sangat.
Aku ingatkan lelaki yang buat keputusan ni semua sebaiku.
Ada yang macam tu tapi tak semua. Awak rehat je dulu, saya pergi beli makanan.
Tak apalah, awak kan penat. Biar saya je masak.
It's okay, semua better.
Kak Maya, sekarang Mira baru pasti benda.
Apa dia?
Tak semua orang dia nak jadi bos. Tapi dia cuma nak pastikan orang yang dia sayang tu selamat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our group will discuss about an issue that is increasingly relevant in our society, which is the challenge of modern feminist discourse on the concept of Qiwāmah in marriage from an Islamic perspective. So, feminism is one of the modern thought that emphasizes gender equality, while Qiwāmah is a fundamental concept in the Islamic family structure where the husband acts as the leader and protector of the family. Next, our research objective on this study: first, to explain the meaning of feminism; second, to study the concept of Qiwāmah from the perspective of the Quran; third, to analyze the influence of feminist thought on the understanding of Qiwāmah; and last, to identify the impact of feminist thinking on the rejection of Qiwāmah. Feminism refers to a modern movement and school of thought that focus on addressing gender inequality and the marginalization of women in society. According to the article and overview on feminism and its categories, feminism aims to fight for equal rights, opportunities, and justice between men and women by challenging social structures that are perceived as unjust and patriarchal. The article also explains that feminism is not a single or uniform ideology. Instead, it encompasses a variety of different categories and approaches, all of which share the basic goal of achieving gender justice. The differences between this movement can be seen in the way they interpret gender roles, authority, and the structure of the family and society. Feminism developed within the historical and social context of Western society before spreading globally through academic discourse, media, and activism. This development has in turn influenced modern discussions of gender roles, the institution of family and marriage, including in religious context. The feminism can be summarized as a diverse modern discourse that emphasizes gender equality and justice, with different approaches and interpretations depending on the context and its various currents.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sharifah Sofia binti Said Abdul Halim
Manuscript number 1231994. Today I will be presenting about the concept of Qiwāmah in Quranic perspective. In this presentation, I want to show that Qiwāmah is not about dominance or superiority, but rather about responsibility and accountability. So first, what is Qiwāmah? Let's start with the meaning of the term itself. Qiwāmah comes from the Quranic word Qiwāmun, which is derived from the Arabic root Qawma. This root means to stand, to take care of something, to manage and to protect. So, linguistically, Qiwāmah does not mean controlling or ruling over someone. Instead, it refers to taking responsibility, maintaining affairs, and providing continuous care. In simple terms, Qiwāmah is more about guardianship and responsibility, not power. So, how is this term used in the Quran? If we look at the Quran, the word Qiwāmun appears in several verses, such as Surah An-Nisa verses 34 and 135, and also in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 8. In these verses, the focus is clearly on justice, fairness, and moral integrity. However, when it comes to family relations, Qiwāmah is specifically mentioned in Surah An-Nisa verses 34, where men are described as Qiwāmun over women. This does not mean men are superior, rather it shows that Qiwāmah is role-based and functional, linked to certain responsibilities within the family. Classical scholars explain Qiwāmah very clearly. For example, Imam Al-Qurtubi explains that Qiwāmah is based on a man's duty to provide financial support and protection. According to him, men are responsible for earning, spending on the family, and protecting women from hardship. Similarly with Ibn Ashur. Ibn Ashur explains that Qiwāmah includes preservation, defense, earning a livelihood, and producing wealth. What's important here is that scholars see Qiwāmah as a duty, not a privilege. Now, what are the foundations of Qiwāmah? In Surah An-Nisa verse 34 highlights two main foundations of Qiwāmah. The first is tafdil, which means preference or advantage. But this does not mean superiority in value. It refers to functional suitability, meaning the ability to carry certain responsibilities. The second foundation is infaq, which refers to financial provision. Men are required to spend from their wealth to support the family. So Qiwāmah is not automatic, it depends on whether these responsibilities are actually fulfilled. One of the clearest aspects of Qiwāmah is financial responsibility. The Quran states that men are described as Qiwāmun because they spend from their wealth. This shows that leadership in the family is tied to economic responsibility, not gender alone. In fact, scholars like Al-Qurtubi argue that if financial responsibility is neglected, the basis of Qiwāmah itself becomes weak. Besides financial support, Qiwāmah also includes protection and preservation. This means protecting the physical, emotional, and social well-being of women. According to Ibn Ashur, protection and defense are obligations, not privilege. So again, Qiwāmah is meant to ensure security and stability, not control. It's also important to remember that Qiwāmah is not obsolete. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes justice, especially in Surah An-Nisa verses 135 and Surah Al-Ma'idah verses 8. This means Qiwāmah must always be practiced with justice, fairness, and good character. Any form of oppression goes against the Quranic principles. Finally, Qiwāmah involves accountability before God. Qiwāmah also comes with accountability before Allah. Because men are entrusted with responsibility, they will be questioned about how they carry it out. This is why many contemporary scholars describe Qiwāmah as taklif, a burden of responsibility, rather than tashrif, a form of honor. When Qiwāmah is separated from justice and compassion, it loses its Quranic purpose.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aisha Mayra binti Bakradi.
metric number 1231927. In my parts, I will explain the influence of feminist thought on the understanding of Qiwāmah. In Islam, Qiwāmah refers to the responsibility of men in the family. According to Surah An-Nisa, verse 34, men are responsible for providing financial support, protecting the family, and guiding the household. Qiwāmah is not absolute power, but a trust that must be carried out fairly. However, from a feminist perspective, especially liberal and radical feminism, Qiwāmah is often interpreted as a form of male domination over women. This happened because feminist thought tend to see traditional family structure as parts of a patriarchal system that oppresses women. Therefore, male leadership in the family is viewed as a symbol of gender inequality. Feminists also see Qiwāmah as an obstacle to gender equality, especially in family decision-making, education, and women's career. They believe men and women should have equal right and power in all aspects of life. Any division of role is seen as unfair. However, in Islam, justice does not necessarily mean equality. Islam divides role based on responsibility and function, not on value or status. Women still have the right to speak, work, and make decisions, while men carry the main responsibility for financial support and protection. Another misunderstanding is the belief that Qiwāmah silences a woman in the family. Feminists view male leadership as a hierarchical system that suppresses women. In Islam, leadership does not deny women the right to give opinion, so the family matters should be handled through a discussion and mutual agreement. Additionally, some feminists view Qiwāmah as a tool of religious oppression, sometimes linking it to violence against a woman. In reality, Islam said clearly means in handling family conflict and prohibits any form of injustice or violence. So we can see here the misunderstanding of Qiwāmah comes from the feminist emphasis on absolute equality and reading religious texts through the lens of male domination. In truth, Qiwāmah is a responsibility and trust, not absolute power, and its aim to create a balanced and harmonious family.
Next, we move to the impact of feminist thought on the institution of the family. Directly, Islamic feminist thought has transformed traditional understanding of Qiwāmah. Qiwāmah is no longer seen as the absolute authority of men to control the family, but as a dynamic from functional responsibility. As women have access to education and financial independence, the role of Qiwāmah, previously associated with men as a provider, has come into question. This has led to a shift from a one-way leadership model to the collective leadership based on the principle of shura, that is, construction between husband and wife. As a result, family decisions are not longer made unilaterally, but rather top jointly deliberation. Qiwāmah is understood as a shared responsibility in ensuring justice, economic stability, and household harmony, thus changing the role of men from ruler to the partner who emphasize cooperation. Next, the second point is the manifestation of Islamic feminist thought in the form of social movement. Islamic feminist thought has been manifested through movements such as Sister in Islam, SIS, which actively challenge the traditional interpretation of Qiwāmah to public education, media, and legal advocacy. The main effect has been the shift in society's understanding of Qiwāmah from absolute male authority to shared leadership based on justice and cooperation. In education, this movement also rejects the concept of blind wifely obedience and emphasizes the principle of reciprocity in the husband-wife relationship, thus making Qiwāmah understood as the dynamic and accountable responsibility. Last, feminist thought has had an impact on the change in the leadership structures in the family. Feminist thought that emphasizes gender equality has replaced the traditional hierarchical structures with the concept of shared leadership. The husband-wife relationship is not longer one side, but it is instead based on the principle of shura that recognizes the wife's right to make decisions. As a result, the role of the wife is recognized as the strategic partner. The division of responsibilities becomes fairer, and the concept of Qiwāmah is not longer absurd as the tool of domination, in line with the principle of justice in Islam.
To conclude, feminism has influenced how some people see Qiwāmah. Some think it means men dominating a woman or controlling the family. They worry it stops women from making decisions or pursuing careers. But in Islam, Qiwāmah is not about power, it's a responsibility. Men provide, protect and guide the family, while women still have full right to speak, work and be part of decision. Leadership is about care and fairness, not control. Feminist ideas have led to social movement and criticism of Islamic family laws. While this discussion aims for fairness, sometimes they misunderstand Islam by mixing responsibility with oppression. In short, Qiwāmah is about balance, fairness and cooperation. Men and women each have roles, but both are respected and valued. Understanding this helps create a family and